Virgo, listen to me carefully. What's about to happen between you and this person defies the usual trajectory. It breaks the expected pattern. I read thousands of situations. I see the same cycles repeat endlessly. People who hurt each other staying hurt, connections that die staying dead, patterns that seem permanent, proving permanent. But every once in a while, maybe a handful of times a year, I encounter energy like what's surrounding your connection. And when I do, I pay attention. Because this type of turnaround is rare enough to be remarkable. This isn't gradual improvement. This isn't slow healing. This isn't maybe things will get better over time energy. This is dramatic reversal. This is two people who seemed done with each other suddenly not being done at all. This is a connection that appeared dead, coming back to life in ways that shock everyone, including the two people involved. This is the kind of transformation that makes witnesses say, wait, I thought they hated each other, or I thought that was completely over. So let's explore this. What makes this turnaround so rare? What's creating it? What it means? And what you need to understand about being in the middle of something this unusual. Take what resonates here. This is about extraordinary relationship transformation. You remain in control of your choices, always. This is simply an invitation to recognize that what's happening between you and this person is not ordinary and requires non ordinary navigation. Let me start by explaining why this type of turnaround is so rare. Because most connections that reach certain breaking points don't recover. Once certain words are said, certain betrayals committed, certain distances created, the relationship calcifies in that broken state. Both people move on, or they stay frozen in mutual resentment, or they maintain polite distance without ever addressing what fractured between them. But they don't turn around. They don't transform the fundamental dynamic from broken to whole. But you and this person, you're in that rare category, the exception, the connection that survives what usually kills connections, that finds a way back from distances that usually prove permanent, that transforms pain into deeper intimacy instead of permanent separation. And I need you to understand how unusual that is so you don't take it for granted or sabotage it with the cynicism that comes from seeing so many connections fail. Now, let me describe what this turnaround actually looks like because it's not one sided. It's not just you softening or just them changing. It's mutual simultaneous transformation. You're both independently and at the same time doing the internal work that makes reconnection possible. You're both examining your contributions to what went wrong. You're both releasing resentments. You're both becoming different versions of yourselves, versions that can actually meet each other in healthy ways. And here's what's remarkable: neither of you is doing this to get the other person back. You're doing it because the pain of the separation cracked you open to necessary growth. You're healing yourself for yourself. They're transforming themselves for themselves. But that parallel internal evolution is creating the conditions for external reconnection. Not as the same two people who hurt each other, but as new people who might be able to love each other better. Let me ask you something. Have you felt the shift in yourself regarding this person? The way your anger has mellowed into understanding, the way your hurt has transformed into clarity about what you actually need, the way you can think about them now without the same level of charge, the way you're seeing the situation from perspectives you couldn't access when you were in the thick of the pain. If yes, that's part of the turnaround, your internal transformation. And they're experiencing something similar on their end, their own softening, their own growth, their own evolution beyond who they were when things fell apart, and when two people are both evolving in directions that make them more compatible, more healed, more ready. That's when rare turnarounds become possible. You know what I'm picking up on most strongly? What's driving this turnaround? And it's not just time passing or distance making hearts grow fonder. It's genuine awakening. Both of you hitting rock bottom in different ways and using that bottom as a launching point for growth instead of just wallowing in it. Both of you realizing that the patterns you brought to the connection were unsustainable. Both of you choosing to become different instead of just blaming each other. For you, maybe the awakening came through seeing the same patterns repeat in other connections, realizing the problem wasn't just them, recognizing your own contributions, your own defenses, your own ways of pushing away the very thing you said you wanted, and doing the work to address those patterns at their root instead of just projecting them onto other people. For them, maybe the awakening came through loss, through realizing what they took for granted, through trying to replace you and discovering you're irreplaceable, through time and distance, showing them that the grass isn't greener, that what they had with you was rare, that their reasons for walking away or their ways of showing up inadequately were about their own limitations, not about you being insufficient. And now you're both arriving at the same realization from different paths. This connection matters, and it deserves better than what we gave it before. And maybe, just maybe, we're ready to give it that better now. Let me slow down here because I need to address what makes this sustainable instead of just another cycle. Because some turnarounds are just temporary reconciliations that repeat old patterns. People get back together without anything fundamental changing, and they end up right back in the same pain within months. But this feels different. This feels like actual transformation, creating actual new possibility. And here's why. The time apart was used for growth, not just for missing each other. You didn't spend the separation pining. You spent it working, healing, examining, evolving. And so did they. Which means when you come back together, if you come back together, it's not the same two people trying the same relationship. It's new people attempting a new dynamic informed by painful lessons from the old one. That's what makes this rare. Most people don't do that work. Most people just wait out the pain and then reconnect from the same unchanged places and wonder why it fails again. But you and this person, you're both actually different, and that creates the foundation for something that could actually work this time. Drop a comment if you recognize this energy between you and someone. If there's a person you thought was completely in your past who's suddenly feeling relevant again, but in a different way. Because I think many of you know exactly who this is about. You've been feeling the shift, the softening, the possibility, even if you haven't named it yet or told anyone about it. You know what else I'm sensing? The specific catalyst that's about to accelerate this turnaround, because internal transformation is happening independently for both of you. But there's going to be a moment where that internal shift becomes external reconnection. A conversation, a confession, an unexpected encounter, something that brings you face to face with each other in your new states. And that catalyst is approaching. It might be one of you reaching out with honesty you couldn't access before. I've been doing work on myself and I understand now what I couldn't understand then. Or I'm sorry for my part in what happened. I see clearly now what I was too defended to see before. Or I don't know if there's anything left between us, but I needed to tell you that losing you changed me in ways I'm grateful for. Or it might be a random encounter that makes both of you realize simultaneously, oh, we're different now. The charge is different. The dynamic is different. The possibility is different. And maybe, just maybe, we could try again from this new place. Let's sit with this for a moment. What if this turnaround is happening because you were always meant to be in each other's lives, but you needed to grow separately first? What if the separation wasn't an ending, but a necessary intermission? What if you had to break apart to break old patterns, had to lose each other to appreciate what you had to become different people individually so you could create a different dynamic together? Because that's often how these rare turnarounds work. Right person, wrong time becomes right person, right time. Not through external circumstances changing, but through internal readiness finally aligning. Through both people simultaneously reaching the maturity, the wisdom, the healing that makes healthy connection possible. Let me offer you guidance about navigating this unusual situation. First, don't rush it. Just because a turnaround is rare doesn't mean it needs to be forced or accelerated. Let it unfold organically. Let both of you continue the internal work that's making this possible. Don't jump back into old patterns of relating just because you're excited about the possibility. Take your time, build slowly, make sure the foundation is actually solid. Second, communicate differently than you did before. If you reconnect, if you have conversations, bring your new awareness. Don't fall into old communication patterns. Be more honest, more vulnerable, more willing to take responsibility, more clear about needs, more able to hear each other without defensiveness. The turnaround only works if you actually relate differently. Third, acknowledge what happened without staying stuck in it. You can't pretend the past didn't occur. You have to address it. Acknowledge the hurt. Take responsibility for your parts. Hear their accountability for theirs. But then let it be the past. Don't use old wounds as ammunition in new conflicts. Learn from it, honor it, and move forward. Fourth, be honest about what you need to feel safe. This turnaround doesn't mean you abandon boundaries or standards. It means you're both ready to meet higher standards. So be clear. What would need to be different for you to trust this? What behaviors would need to change? What commitments would need to be made? Don't settle for less just because a turnaround is rare. Let the rarity be about quality, not just about reconciliation. Fifth, stay connected to yourself. Don't lose the growth you've achieved in the excitement of reconnection. Don't abandon the boundaries you've learned to set. Don't shrink back to who you were before. Part of what makes this turnaround possible is who you've become. Stay that person. Require this connection to work for that version of you. Let me ask you one final question. What would it mean if this rare turnaround actually works? If you and this person actually build something healthy and lasting from the ruins of what was broken, what would that prove to you? That growth is possible, that people can change, that love can survive profound rupture and come back stronger? Because I think that's part of why this feels so significant. It's not just about this specific relationship, it's about what it represents: hope, possibility, the fact that endings don't always have to be permanent, that mistakes don't have to be fatal, that two people who care enough to grow can sometimes find their way back to each other and make it work in ways they couldn't before. Here's what you need to understand: rare doesn't mean guaranteed. This type of turnaround is unusual, but it's not magic. It still requires work. It still requires both people showing up consistently and differently. It still requires communication, boundaries, commitment, effort. The rarity is in both people being willing and able to do that work. But the work itself still has to be done. So if this reconnection happens, if this turnaround manifests fully, don't coast on the rarity of it. Don't assume we found our way back to each other, so now everything will be easy. It won't be. It'll be different. It'll be better. But it'll still require active participation from both of you to maintain what you're rebuilding. Take what resonates from this reading, leave what doesn't, and remember that you remain in control of your boundaries, of your pace, of whether you fully engage with this turnaround or observe it from distance. I rarely see this type of turnaround between two people, but I'm seeing it between you and them. Mutual transformation, parallel growth, simultaneous readiness, the kind of rare alignment that makes broken things healable and dead things resurrectable. And it's beautiful, and it's fragile, and it deserves to be honored with consciousness and care. Trust your inner knowing. Trust that if this is meant to fully manifest, it will. Trust that the growth you've done isn't wasted whether this reconnection happens or not. Trust that rare doesn't mean risky if both people are genuinely different. Trust that you can explore this possibility without abandoning the wisdom you've gained. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the work that makes turnarounds possible. Thank you for being willing to grow instead of just staying bitter. You're exactly where you need to be. In the middle of something rare, something that defies usual patterns, something that could become a testament to what's possible when two people choose growth. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Honor what's rare, build it wisely, and remember, turnarounds work. When both people turn around, not just one,